ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय Ramakrishnaaya te namaha. A good evening to all of you. We have all assembled here to witness the proceedings of the inaugural session of the National Seminar on Swami Vivekananda's relevance in meeting the challenges of the 21st century. This is the program of Ramakrishna Mission Belur Mutt, which is being conducted with financial assistance from the Government of India as a part of the 150th birth anniversary celebrations of Swami Vivekananda. We shall begin this solemn function with sacred Vedic chanting by monks and brahmacharis.
ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ तच्छयोरावृणीमहे गातुर्यज्ञाय गातुर्यज्ञपतये दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वं जिगातु भेषजं शन्नो अस्तु द्विपदे शञ्चतुष्पदे ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ नमो भगवते रुद्राय नमस्ते रुद्रमन्यव उतोत इषभे नमः नमस्ते अस्तु धन्वने बाहुभ्यामुत ते नमः यात इषुः शिवतमा शिवं बभूव ते धनुः शिवा शरव्या यातवतया नो रुद्रमृडय याते रुद्रशिवा तनूरघोरा पापकाशिनी तया नस्तनुभाषन्तमया गिरिशान्ताभिचाकशीः यामिषुङ्गिरिशन्तहस्ते बिभर्ष्यस्तवे शिवाङ्गिरित्रतां कुरु माहिगंसीः पुरुषं जगत् शिवेन वचसा त्वा गिरिशाच्छावदामसि यथा नः सर्वमिज्जगदयक्ष्मगं सुमना असत् अध्यवोचदधिवक्ता प्रथमो दैव्योऽभिषक् अहीगश्च सर्वान् जम्भयन् सर्वाश्रयातु धान्यः असौ यं साम्रो अरुण उत बभ्रुः सुमङ्गलः ये चेमागं रुद्रा अभितो दिक्षु श्रिता सहस्रशो वैशागं एरयीमहे असौ यो वसर्पति नीलग्रीवो विलोहितः उतैनं गोपा अविशन्न विषन्नुदहार्यः उतैनं विश्वा भूतानि सदृष्टो मृडयातिनः नमो अस्तु नीलग्रीवाय सहस्राक्षाय मीढुषे अथो ये अस्य सत्त्वानोऽहं तेभ्यो करं नमः प्रमुञ्च धन्वनस्त्वमुभयोरात्नीर्योज्यां याश्यते हस्त इषवः पराता भगवो वप अवतत्यधनुस्त्वगं सहस्राक्षशतेषुधे निशीर्य शल्यानां मुखा शिवो नः सुमना भव बीजं धनुः कपर्दिनो विशल्यो वानवागम् उत अनिशन्यस्येषव आहुरस्य निषङ्गतिः याते हेतिर्मीढुष्टमहस्ते बभूव ते धनुः तयास्मान् विश्वतस्त्वमयक्ष्मया परिभुज नमस्ते अस्त्वायुधायानातताय धृष्णवे उभाभ्यामुदते नमो बाहुभ्यां तव धन्मने परिते धन्मनो हेतिरस्मान् वृणक्तु विश्वतः अथो य इषुभिस्तवारे अस्मन्निधेहितं शम्भवे नमः नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ तत्सत्। श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।
Now, the Secretary of the Ramakrishna Mission Institute of Culture, Gold Park, Revered Swami Suparnanandaji Maharaj, will felicitate the speakers. Revered Swami Suhitanandaji Maharaj, the General Secretary, Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission, is being felicitated. Revered Swami Balabhadranandaji Maharaj, Assistant Secretary, Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission. Respectable Professor A.K. Sharma, an Honorary Professor at the Center of Advanced Studies, Department of Botany in Calcutta University. Revered Swami Suparnanandaji Maharaj will now present the address of welcome.
Om Janani Sharadam Devi Ramakrishna Jagat Guru Pada Padmitayo Sitva Pranamami Muhu. So it's a great privilege for us to welcome in our midst this afternoon revered Swami Suhitanandaji, the General Secretary of Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission. I think I am welcoming him on this dais, in this hall particularly for the first time. Since my coming over to this place some 5 months ago, this is the first occasion when we all meeting in this hall. I, on behalf of myself, offer my sastanga to him, and of course, on behalf of you all, I offer collective pranam to revered Maharaj. He is also the chairman of the Central Executive Committee of the 150th birth anniversary of Sw Vivekananda celebration. And as you have already heard, that this program is a program for the Belur Math headquarters. And Revered Maharaj has requested us to hold it here. So that's why we are holding it on behalf of them. And he is with us. He will be delivering the keynote address on the theme already announced, the challenges facing us today. So we have also in our midst Swami Balabhadranandaji, the Assistant Secretary, one of the Assistant Secretaries of the Ramakrishna Math and Mission, he is also the convener of the cultural committee for the cultural activities of the 150th birth anniversary. You all might be knowing that from 2009 onward, we have been, or the Ramakrishna Mission has been launching so many projects on different fronts, at the cultural front, and the development of the masses, also work among the children, women, and there are other also aspects where we have been carrying out our activities. So today we are going to deliberate on this important theme. Here we have so many distinguished speakers present. Dr. Prabhu Shankar from Mysore, Dr. Mother Premananda Kumar, Professor Tattakanda Mishra from Odisha, Srimati Tadasa Mishra, his illustrious daughter, an IPS officer also. We have also Professor A.K. Sharma, the Vice President of the Managing Committee of the Institute. He is on the dais. I welcome them. I welcome the Swamijis, the Matajis, other distinguished Calcuttans. We have in the front row Professor Sabyasachi Bhattacharya, Professor Radharamon Chakraborty and others. And we have the devotees. I welcome you all. In fact, the issue that we are going to deal with is well known. Though we have said that the challenges that facing us in the 21st century, but I feel that behind all these challenges there is one single challenge, a single problem. The problem is the loss of faith in us arising out of ignorance. We cannot accept our glaciations, our divine nature. And that's why there is no peace, there is no love, there is no sweetness, there is no belonging. We do not belong to even our families, much less to society. So that's the problem plaguing us, the single problem, that we are ignorant about our own real nature. And Swamiji has pointed out time and again, that we are essentially and obviously divine, though potentially. We are divine beings, all life is divine, and we have to realize that state of our existence, not only physical, intellectual and mental, mainly by helping others realize that state of nature. So his love for humanity comes from this deep faith in the divinity of all life. When we are very much inclined to accept that faith in us, that aspect of our life, then obviously all our activities will be directed towards that end. And that would create equality in society. That would guarantee lasting peace in society. That is it. And all challenges would really be totally absent from us, all other individual challenges. That is it. As if we are all consonants put together without any vowel in between, jammed. We cannot do anything with this sort of problem facing us today. I feel that Swamiji, when he was alive, he could make everybody spiritual by a single touch or by glance. This is the view of Miss Xavier, the wife of Captain Xavier. Both of them came over to India and set up at Mayavati, the Advaita Ashrama. And that mother, she says that Swamiji communicated spirituality that way, by single touch, and solved our problems. He is no more. But his ideas are scattered as they are in the pages of his works. And through all these seminars and talks, discussions, we have to be in touch with that spirit and be inspired. With these few remarks on the theme, I once again welcome Revered Maharaj in our midst and offer our salutations to him. Jai Hari Om Tat Sat.
Now, Revered Swami Balabhadranandaji Maharaj, Assistant Secretary of the Ramakrishna Mutt and Ramakrishna Mission, who is also the convener of Cultural Activities Subcommittee, specially formed to commemorate Swami Vivekananda's 150th birth anniversary celebrations, will now speak about the seminar.
Most revered Suhitanandaji Maharaj, revered Suparnanandaji Maharaj, Professor A.K. Sharma, speakers of the sessions tomorrow who are now seated in the audience, other monks and brahmacharis, and the distinguished members of the audience. You know in which capacity I am to talk here about the seminar, though I am not a member of this institute, not one of the organizers. This seminar is taking place under the aegis of Cultural Activities Subcommittee of Ramakrishna Mission, and I happen to be the convener of that committee. A central committee with 5 such subcommittees have been functioning since 2010 from Ramakrishna Mission headquarters to commemorate the 150th birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda. Swami Suhitanandaji Maharaj, by virtue of his being the General Secretary of our order, is the chairman of these committees. Let me now tell you very briefly what these subcommittees are doing. One subcommittee, Special Service Subcommittee. It is working in 24 states through 300 units to provide food and health care to children, new mothers, and women of underprivileged classes. Youth Activities Subcommittee, providing valuable education to school students and the youth throughout India. We have so far been able to reach about 3 lakhs youth. Print Media Committee, it is publishing books on Swamiji in more than 12 languages and giving them at very subsidized price. E-Media Committee has already published some and will produce the remaining shortly DVDs, animation films and feature films on Swamiji. And this Cultural Activities Subcommittee, we are to organize by March 2014 22 state-level seminars on religious harmony and unity in diversity, of which 18 have been already organized. 12 regional interfaith dialogues, of which 8 already organized. 5 tribal conferences, of which 3 already organized. 1 exhibition on national integration through arts and crafts. It will be held in January 14 at Balabhadranandaji, along with the concluding program to commemorate Swamiji's 150th birth anniversary. 2 international seminars. One will be held in January 14 at Balabhadranandaji as part of the concluding program, and the second will be held in Mumbai in February 2014. 3 regional seminars and 1 national seminar which is taking place here today. The subject of this seminar is Swamiji's relevance in meeting the challenges of the 21st century. Let us first see in brief what Swamiji's message was to India and to the West. To the West, Swamiji said, in spite of all your wealth and prosperity, you are sitting on the top of a volcano. Any moment it may erupt. Unless you shift your center of life from materialism to spirituality. 2 world wars perhaps proved Swamiji true. To the Indians he said, you will have to shed caste distinction, superstition, and all sorts of divisive meanness in the name of religion. Your scriptures talk of universal oneness, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, but in practice, you are creating more divisions every day. This gulf between the religion of scriptures and the religion of practice must be wiped out. Truth does not pay homage to any society. Society has to pay homage to the truth. The eternal truth of oneness of existence must be made practical in Indian society to make it an ideal one, so that whole world may follow the model of India. He said, for the last few centuries, India has committed 2 great sins. It has neglected the masses and women, which has degraded the nation in spite of its having wonderful spiritual and cultural treasures. About the masses, he said, everywhere, not alone in India, the masses are the source of power. But the rulers very often forget that. They take the power of the people to be their own. In Bengali, he says, Gochchito dhane atmabuddhi hoy. They take the power of the people to be their own, and instead of using people's power for people's cause, they use it in their own interest, thus paving the path for new rulers to take over. About women, he said, how civilized a society is determined by how well it treats its women. He said, just as a bird cannot fly on a single wing, a country also cannot progress if its women are not equally empowered. They should be given due dignity and right everywhere. He even said, if 500 men takes 50 years to accomplish a national goal, 500 women will do it in several weeks. The first task before the nation is to eradicate poverty of the masses, to provide them food, shelter, and health care. Next comes the important issue of education. Swami Vivekananda used to say, we might have many problems, but not a single one that could not be solved by the magical power of education. Education to him was like a panacea to cure all social evils in our country as well as everywhere. Now, to see how relevant these ideas are today, I will draw your kind attention to United Nations 8-point Millennium Development Goals. In 2000 AD, 189 member countries of the United Nations took a pledge to free the world from poverty and other deprivations by 2015. The outcome of this meet is these 8 Millennium Development Goals. They are: number 1, eradication of poverty and hunger. 2, achieving universal primary education. 3, promoting gender equality and empowering women. 4, reducing child mortality. 5, reducing maternal death. 6, combating malaria and other diseases. 7, ensure environmental sustainability and to develop a global partnership for development. Of these 8 goals, 4 deal with problems of poverty, healthcare, and education of people. 2 concern the problems of gender bias and women empowerment, and the 1 concerns the issue of progress of whole humanity in unison. We see that Swamiji discussed all the 6 issues and very much in depth some 111 years ago. As the United Nations takes stock of their progress in 2013, when only 2 years left from their projected deadline of 2015, they find that in spite of remarkable progress in some areas, the goals remain still elusive. To mention in brief, malnutrition among Indian children has increased. 1.2 billion people in the world go to bed hungry. Domestic violence is prevalent even in the developed countries, and violation of women's dignity in various forms is very much present everywhere. Therefore, we can say Swamiji continues to be relevant. Of the 8 Millennium development goals. One is to develop global partnership for progress. Swamiji touched this point also in 1897, when the word globalization was not even known. He said in a Madras lecture, there cannot be any progress without the whole world following in the wake. And it is becoming every day clearer that the solution of any problem can never be attained now on racial or national or narrow grounds. Every idea has to become broad till it covers the whole of this world. But the globalization today shows a different picture. It has not been able to take the entire humanity in its wake. It has failed to carry development to the doors of the majority. United Nations Development Publication of 1999, whose title is Globalization with a Human Face, shows that in 1999, the richest 20% people of the world enjoyed 85% of the world's wealth, whereas the poorest 20% people enjoyed only 0.1% of the wealth. And this difference between the haves and the have-nots was on the rise. Experts find some basic human values missing in globalization. They say globalization needs a caring heart. Globalization needs leadership. Swamiji again emerges relevant in this context. To provide this heart to globalization, to make it all blessings, Swamiji is needed. Did not he say, money does not pay, nor name. Fame does not pay, nor learning. It is love that pays. Love is the only law of life. As I would conclude, I will quote what Lex Hickson said about Sri Ramakrishna in his book, Great Swan. He says, Sri Ramakrishna is not a quaint person from a distant civilization. He is an Einstein of the planetary civilization of the 21st century. The same may be said of Vivekananda as well, who is but Sri Ramakrishna's interpretation, who is but Sri Ramakrishna's another form, his dynamic counterpart. The message of this twin soul is love, peace and harmony, which rings more relevant after the catastrophe of 9/11. Many illuminating speeches are in store, starting from the keynote address of Revered Maharaj this evening. I wish this seminar all success. Thank you.
The keynote address will now be given by Revered Swami Suhitanandaji Maharaj, the General Secretary of the Ramakrishna Math Mission, who is also the ex officio chairman of the Central Executive Committee specially formed to commemorate Swami Vivekananda's 150th birth anniversary celebrations.
Revered Suparnanandaji Maharaj, Balabhadranandaji Maharaj, Dr. A.K. Sharma ji, other monks and the brahmacharis, Matajis, and the respectable distinguished guests, admirers of Swami Vivekananda. Suparnananda has mentioned that This is my first coming day after his taking over the responsibility. I respect this so, but as well as I would say that this function is not the function of the headquarters. This function is also the function of Golpark also. Because he is within the headquarters, so Golpark's function or headquarters function is not to separate identity. It is the same. We all belong in the same family, as Balabhadranandaji was nicely mentioning, propagating, and he was trying to driving the peace theory, that what should be. By the way, accidentally I remember one funny incident. Once, some vice chancellors and from different universities visited Balabhadranandaji on the occasion of starting of our Vivekananda University. When we applied for that thing, naturally they sent a team, inspecting team or something like that. So they visited. And when they came to know that our university will have the headquarters at Balabhadranandaji, its one center will be at Narendra, another center will be at Mysore, another center will be at Coimbatore, another center will be at Ranchi Dipaya. He said, how is it possible for? Because we are vice chancellors, we know what are the problems of the university. We cannot manage one university and in the same campus, and you are saying that you will manage from such a long distance. How do you manage? Then, by the way, I just told him, what is your home? You are coming from which place? He said, I am coming from Haryana. How are you managing your Haryana home? Why? My relatives are there. Same is the thing. We are also same. Our relatives are there. We are managing our institution through our own relatives. Then he said, oh, is it something like? So here also, Suparnananda is our own relative. So here this function, it is not this Balabhadranandaji's function, it is a function of the culture as well as of the Balabhadranandaji. Second point, why all these things came up. In Prabhupada Maharaj, while he was the General Secretary, he attended some meeting. Accidentally, the Prime Minister of India was also there. To see the dismal look, the erosion of values in the country, Prime Minister, by the way, just he asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, can you do something? How to arrest this erosion of values? Then Prabhupada, what to reply? He remained silent. Then Prime Minister himself said, money is no problem. If you can submit some project proposal, we will see how to arrest this erosion of values. After this instruction, then with the help of the cultural secretary and all these persons, one project proposal was prepared and it was submitted to the government. The government, they called a committee, that is in the parliament committee, that is a national committee, to celebrate 150th celebration of Swami Vivekananda. They took up an issue. Here is an opportunity. If we just focus on Swami Vivekananda, then the old values, our traditional values, again will come up. Let us take this opportunity. So the cultural secretary, he just arranged how to submit the proposals and all the things, because you know these government formalities we are not accustomed to. So how many bundles of pages it should contain. So all the things they know. So, and how to prepare they also know. So they prepare and we submitted. We'll be happy to know that in the Parliament committee, the first national committee, there the whole project was accepted in toto. In toto, it was the project of 100 crores relating to the whole whole thing project was related to the values, value education and nothing else. Of course, we said out of this 100 crores, 50 crores will be kept reserved for the have-not section of the society, especially the children. The children, this 50 crores should be utilized for them. And the remaining 50 crores, out of 50, 30 crores we kept reserved for the youth. The youth, because in India, now 50%, 55% population is youth. So the youth is actually our asset and as well as a liability. So if we can utilize this youth force, then India is bound to come up and rise. And if we do not use and just misuse this force, in that case what pathetic figure it will come, picture for India will come, we all can understand. So we said this 30 crores should be reserved for the youth. That means some value education for the children as well as for as pregnant mothers also. And the 20 crores for cultural publication of the books and these things. It is heartening to know that on value education subject, 148 titles have been selected. And these 148 titles have been translated into 14 languages. 14 languages, inclusive of Sanskrit, Kakramokno, and some Tulu, some this, which are not so much in our just constitutional agenda. Those languages also we have translated these books. And these value education books have been nearly printed, 25 lakhs of copies have been distributed, almost in some just nominal price. Because Swamiji himself said, if you give somebody, they will simply just turn over the pages and either throw away or put into the dustbin. So there should be some nominal price, 2 rupees, 3 rupees, something like that. So whosoever will purchase, he will have to earn it. That means then we will go through it. The impact we are already finding. What is that impact? That means the youth force, they have started to think for the others. I can cite one example. Our Bakura Ashram, there they got some, just hand some money to do some good work. So they thought that with this money, we will make arrangement for the study of the younger generation. Let them get good education, library, books, teachers, and a little bit of tiffin. And the project was going on. And along with it, they took up some project of the school children to give them coaching facilities. The things were going on. After 5 months, the young boys, the college students and their graduate and postgraduate students, 5-6 students, they approached the Maharaj, in charge Maharaj, and told him, Maharaj, we want to start this sort of project in our village. Then Maharaj said, it is very good. You have been inspired by this good cause. It is very nice. I shall fully support it. So how much money do you need? He said, we have come here not for any money. Because if we take money, then what lessons we have got? Then after going through Swamiji, if we after money only we do, then what lessons we have got? We don't want any money. We want your guidance and protection only. This is this value education. We are finding that if we can reach amongst the younger generation, certainly they will contribute something positive. Swamiji, why Swamiji, I better let me read out, because it related to this 21st century. Here Swamiji's quotation. It may be that I shall find it good to get outside of my body, to cast it off like a disused garment, but I shall not cease to work. I shall inspire men everywhere until the world shall know that it is one with God. Aurobindo said, behold, Vivekananda still lives in the soul of his mother and in the souls of her children. Swamiji mentioned during his last illness, he said, I have given them enough for 1500 years. In this context, I remember Nivedita's one utterance. Nivedita wrote a letter to somebody. There, Nivedita saying that we persons, those who are mixing with Swamiji so closely, intently, we are watching him from close quarters, and we are observing his spirituality, his gigantic personality, his large-heartedness, all the things. But a time will come when we persons will slowly, one by one, leave the world stage. And at that time, what will happen about this Swamiji's glorious aspect? He will be forgotten. The same thing happened. Actually, it happened. Nivedita writes that, but after 150 years, again Swamiji will come back. Again Swamiji will come back. Actually, the same thing is happening. After 150 years, Swamiji is again coming back. How Swamiji is coming back? That is the main point. And what happened? Why Swamiji remained so dormant during so many years? All of a sudden, why this upsurge of Swamiji? Whole India, not only India, the world itself, it is something like that. We are having 133 centers in India, and our outside nearly 40 centers are there, including Bangladesh. In almost all the centers we are observing, and along with it, this outside world, not less than 14 countries, we have got some letters. They wrote to cultural department. First, of course, our cultural department, they made just some correspondence with these countries, whether they are willing to celebrate Swami Vivekananda. This is very encouraging. Why I am saying it is encouraging in this sense, that Swami Vivekananda has been honored and appreciated, and words of appreciation, honor, all the things we are getting plenty from different big persons. From his very beginning, say from 1893, even prior to that, from 90 onwards, we are getting all these things. But never by any government Swamiji has been accepted with so much honor, with so much dignity and so much necessity. That is the thing. This government of India, they have taken up Swami Vivekananda as an issue for the national rejuvenation. So this is the important aspect. So as the government of India has taken it up, they wanted that this thing should spread out, spill over to other countries also. So you might have read that Pranam Babu, while he was probably the finance minister, at that time he visited Chicago and he addressed there and created a chair on Swami Vivekananda, giving a big amounts for that chair. Then on behalf of the government of India, they created that chair. And the government of India contacted other countries also to do something to celebrate. And the government of India would give them money also, some through their embassies. It is very beautiful to listen that at least 14 countries, they have written letters to us. How? Because the government approached them, so they approached the government cultural department. The cultural department passed all those letters to us for just suitable reply. Then we just send them that these are the projects you can take up and you can celebrate. So all these things say that how this Swamiji is silently working and how it has got its tremendous impact. Now this tremendous impact about this thing, Sister Gargi, Mary Louise Bach, those of you who have read her book, you will be knowing. In one of her articles, she mentioned this about the silent impact of Swamiji. Then she said that I have watched cleanly and intently, I have found that in literature, science, philosophy, everywhere, in management, everywhere, the words and the technologies, the thinking, thoughts of Swamiji slowly spreading in the society. So, this Swamiji, he was not forgotten, but he himself was working silently amongst the masses, amongst the people. So now, so many people, they have adopted, they have accepted Swamiji's thought. As a result, some upside has come up. And this is the impact in the world. Now, in India's case also, before our independence, we felt the need of Swamiji very much. And that is the reason we find that all the freedom fighters, they each and every one, they were having a book of Swamiji. And they got freedom in 1947. Our political leaders, they thought that probably the necessity of Vivekananda is over. We no more need Vivekananda because we have got freedom. Since we have got freedom, so they felt that we should focus on other aspects of the society, economic growth, culture, this other technical growth, industrial growth, all these things. Certainly we have grown up much. Today, if we move those who we are old persons, while we are young boys or girls at that time, we have seen what was the pathetic condition of whole of India. But today, wherever we go, we find sky-rise buildings, shopping malls, beautiful things are coming up. Nice roads, beautiful buses, cars, vehicles, air-conditioned movements, so many things are coming up. So we cannot say that India is simply lagging behind, we have got nothing. It is not that so. We have progress enough, but that progress is localized within 30%. Within 30% of the population. The rest, the 70% of the population, they are still in neglected position. I am not saying that they have no progress at all. They have their progress, but they are still in a neglected position. The focus of this 30% should go to those persons. That is, there comes the necessity of value education. There comes, because you have the wealth, so you should know how to spend the money. A few days ago in Malda, I was there. There, the SP, some Mukherjee, he is an ex-student, accidentally came to know after his talk, that he was an ex-student of our Narendra Center. He was telling, Maharaj, I am earning so much. So what should I do with my money? So I have taken up some projects that I shall do something for the poorer section of the society. Because whatever, if I lead my life in some humble way, certainly I can save something. And out of my saving, I can do something for the poorer section of the society. If one man starts, then another man will also start along with him. Swamiji has mentioned a beautiful statement is there. One seed is enough to reforest the world. One seed is enough to reforest the world. So and so is not doing, so why should I do only? It is not the thing. Let me start from here this way. If you start the music, others will come and follow. Automatically will come. So this value education has become a necessity. Manmohan Singh, while we are making correspondence at that time, in one of his letters, he mentioned beautiful sentence. About Swamiji, he gave this thing, the tallest personality of the age. Undoubtedly, Swami Vivekananda is the tallest personality of this age. And his Chicago address, that was a turning point in the history of India. Actually, it was so, because the moment we heard that Swami Vivekananda has been accepted with glory and glamour, and he has been accepted the world platform, he has got the world platform, immediately we feel that we are not slaves. We also can become kings. We also can become gurus. We can become world teachers. So that sort of self-esteem, some sort of self-confidence that we gain back. And the other result, we could get back our own freedom. As a result, we are now marching forward. We are how much progress we are having. In this context, I remember a few days ago in some center, Barodara, I was there, Abdul Kalam, he was also in there present. This Abdul Kalam, once he visited Belur Math. At that time, he was the President of India. While he visited, I was at that time the Assistant Secretary, and I was entrusted the responsibility to just show him round. First of all, I took him to the main temple, Guru Maharaj's temple. You know that he is a Muslim gentleman. Naturally, I had a little hesitation. Still, I told him, "Do you like to offer any flower?" He simply said, "If I am permitted." And I said, "Yes, you kept it ready." So we just handed it over to him. Then I was taking him towards Swamiji's bedroom. While he was going, silently he came and whispered in my ear, "Swamiji, will you mind if I sit in that room for 3 minutes? I like to meditate in that particular room." I said, "Certainly." And he sat there, he meditated, and afterwards I took him to Holy Mother's temple, and from this temple then to President Maharaj. Going to President Maharaj, he was the president, he was going to sit at the feet of President Maharaj. But President Maharaj certainly did not allow him, asked him to sit on the chair. And he sat on the chair, and I found him that he, as if a class 7 boy is just sitting in presence of the headmaster or headmistress. Just like that. So humble, so just gentle. It was some what sight to see, and the angels would be just for to observe it. That sort of atmosphere it created. So our president, if that type of stature of person comes, why not India will come up? India is bound to come up. Rabindranath Tagore, he could appreciate Swamiji in another way. Rabindranath said that Swamiji, his contemporaries, they were also leaders. They focused on different projects, because India is under pressure, India is slave, so India will have to go out, India will have to rise up, India will have to become free. So his contemporary leaders, they projected innumerable projects and the schemes and other things. But unlike them, Swamiji, he ventilated some ideas. This is the difference. Rabindranath could find out that unlike others, Swamiji, he spread and disseminated only ideas, concrete ideas. And special idea was this idea of man-making. That was Swamiji's concept. Here, as for example, I can just cite another thing. Suppose, around 1921, 22, 23, that time, we will find that some education movement was initiated by different persons. Rabindranath Tagore, he started Shantiniketan, Vardha, Aurobindo, and Sw Vivekananda also. Some education institutions were started. Now, just to this lapse of time, we can see when these institutions were started, all the institutions, except Ramakrishna Mission, All the other institutions were started with some glorious persons and with some grandeur and with some name, fame, so many things were there. In contrast, Ramakrishna Mission institutions were very small institutions. But gradually we find this movement, this Ramakrishna Mission movement, slowly it is generating more and more force and it is having more impact on society. Why? In contrast to those institutions, certainly we will say that any fool will have to admit that these Ramakrishna institutions are thriving more and more. Why? Because stress on man-making. Stress on man-making. They started their institution, organizations with big persons, big projects, big buildings, but this actual training of the man, that was not focused. In contrast, Swamiji, he is focused on this man-making. So that is the actual thing which is the now crying need of this society and the world also. Here, Swamiji, he has mentioned that another this gift unopened. This in that book, Alana Stark, a gift unopened, there he has started with this sentence that Columbus discovered the soil of America, but Sw Vivekananda discovered the soul of America. Swami Vivekananda discovered the soul of America. What Swami Vivekananda discovered? He discovered two things. One is that he discovered that they have organizing capacity. Organizing capacity, this is something stupendous thing. They know how to be conjointly work together. Swamiji, that is, after seeing all these activities and the movement and their growth, all the things, seeing Swamiji was also bombarding his brother disciples, that I heard that Trigunatita is writing articles and is going to publish a magazine, something like that. It is very good, I appreciate it very much, but he should know that he must work jointly. That is to work jointly, that means organizing faculty that is lacking in India. In India, the moment somebody starts something good work, immediately his counterpart, he will start another. There will be defection. One Kali Puja, another Kali Puja. One Durga Puja, another Durga Puja. This jealousy factor, we cannot bear that another person's growth, progress. This is a bane of the slave persons, and we sincerely still the victim of that thing. So how to work together? That thing Swamiji observed there, that this obedience, that is very much wanted. In Prabhupada one day told me that in Swamiji's letters I could find that Swamiji has mentioned 18 times this word obedience. So this obedience, that is very much wanted, and in that process, this how a organization can be started and can work. He made an experiment and we find that experiment has become successful. One mathematical formula I like to share with you, which I heard from Ramashananda Maharaj. One day he was telling me 1 plus 1 is equal to 4. Naturally, you will feel surprised, how can it be? 1 plus 1 cannot never be 4. But he said, yes, it can be 4. Well, how should I? How is it? Say, you and I, we are there, here. So what is there? I am feeling that we are 2, and you are feeling that you are 2. So here we are getting the potency of the 4, though we are 2. That is the spirit of this organization. So if we all can come together, so what a tremendous impact it can generate. So many things Swamiji has given us. This only thing is required, that means lack of ambition and a little bit of obedience, then we Indians can do splendid. Nowhere in the world you will find such rich, cultured persons. these poorer sections of the world. Here in India, they are sincerely jewels. I myself have come across them very intimately, closely, and have seen them. Sincerely, they are jewels persons. Swamiji has mentioned, Hey Bharate Sramajevi, Ami Tomake Pranam Kori. This is Karl Marx could never think that he could give so much of adoration to the labor section of this community. So our poor are very good, only they need a little guidance, a little protection from the upper section of the society. All these impacts are having tremendous effect in other countries also. My time is over, so I will not just drag too much. Simply, I will just one sentence I will finish. That is, UNESCO, he has mentioned about UNESCO. This UNESCO manifesto, they have taken up 3 agenda, 21st century. One agenda, learning to know. So long I learn, I just live, I shall have to learn, learning to know. I should never feel that I know this thing, that there is scope for learning. Just to think of Sri Ramakrishna Kashipur. This is almost the last message, what it was. Jabot machi, tabot shikhi. So it has taken so many years for the world to come to that stage. What that Indian mystic prophesied at Kashipur 100 years back, and this world needs so many years to come to that stage. Another is learning to be. That is in this UNESCO manifesto, learning to be. Swami has mentioned it. Religion is not seeing or anything. It is be and becoming. It is being and becoming. Thakur bolechen, mon muk akkor. That is the thing, mon muk akkor. That is this being. And the third is learning to live together or live in peace. Just to think of Holy Mother's quotation that Shanti Chauma Pore Dos Dekono, Jagat Toma Apna. So this we find that this concept of these principles of Sri Ramakrishna, whatever Holy Mother and Swamiji they had, those things are bound to come to the world, and those things are coming silently. We may not that they are mentioning their names, but they have to accept it, and they have to gradually become it. This is the most important thing. And now I must finish that Swamiji, once he was giving a talk in this sort of an audience, there it was pin of silence. All of a sudden, Swamiji saluted the audience and withdrew. Then those who organized, they said, Swamiji, what's the harm? There was no problem amongst the audience. Then why did you please get out from the stage? He said, no, I was finding they are going to swallow each and every of my words. Then what's the harm? No, that is not my message. My message is manliness. I want they should scrutinize, then only they will accept. This is our Swamiji, and his relevance will remain, continue as long as this world will be. So he himself said, whosoever will, he said, come to me, I shall make each one of you 20. Thank you.
We have now come to the last phase of this inaugural session of the seminar on Swamiji. Now, Professor A.K. Sharma, an eminent scientist and an honorary professor in the Center for Advanced Studies, Department of Botany in the Calcutta University, will give the vote of thanks.
Respected Swami Suparnanandaji Maharaj, Swami Suhitanandaji Maharaj, and Swami Balabhadranandaji Maharaj. And first of all, I must thank the organization, especially the Belur Math and Mission, for asking me to rather the vote of thanks to all of you who are present over here. Well, today we had two speakers and who have given us full details as to how what the Ramakrishna mission is going, and especially as the Sw Vivekananda's activities on this 150th year society. Swami Suparnanandaji Maharaj, Secretary of the Institute, initially while welcoming the delegates, gave an idea of the activities that we are having, and particularly while we are dealing with the subject that under the present century was the impact of Swamiji's teachings, and he highlighted the main impact has been loss of faith and ignorance to a great extent. Now, truly speaking, this loss of faith is one which is also inherent, or rather the remedy for which is inherent in Swamiji's teaching in the purpose of education, perfection of the inherent quality in man. That is exactly the base for loss of faith, or rather the remedy for loss of faith. And secondly, he also highlighted all our activities in relation to this 150th year of celebration, and I'm indeed grateful to him for his address. Secondly, Swami Balabhadranandaji highlighted certain aspects, no doubt, of this period, rather the celebration, because he also happens to be the convener of the cultural activity of Swami Vivekananda Celebration Committee. And there he highlighted two issues. One, in the education, lack of education, and secondly, the gender bias with ladies. Actually speaking, these two, Swamiji also truly speaking dealt with in detail and in various words. He even mentioned that for education for the masses, if a rich man's son requires one teacher, then a poor man's son must require at least 10 teachers, because they have not been given that rather inherent quality which can take up education. Similarly, for the ladies too, as you know, he has mentioned that how the ladies can perform the 10 times more work to provided you give them the guidance, provided you give them the education. So all these are indeed the way through which one can meet the challenges of today. Thirdly, the Swami Suhitanandaji Maharaj mentioned about the celebration, Vivekananda Celebration Committee, 150 years of the committee's celebration, and the Government of India has given the sufficient grant for carrying out activities fitting for the occasion. And the most important one is the erosion of values, value education. That has been the principal aim on which all the programs are now being planned. And truly speaking, all the activities that he has mentioned are entirely in keeping with the Swamiji's ideals. And what we sincerely hope that if all these can be carried out, for which really one is hoping, then naturally the Swamiji's ideas of it is a person to see the being and becoming, be good to others. In education, intrinsic quality in man to inherit it. The religion is increasing the initial divinity in man. All these can come in one after another once we succeed in the programs that they had mentioned. Well, I must thank all the monks, the sannyasis, as well as the speakers, the distinguished people who have come over here to have accepted our invitation, and finally to the speakers for the wonderful presentation. Thank you all.
With this, we come to the end of the session. Thank you, all of you.